down 1,000 times. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. In this episode, we're talking about 7 players you want to let your idiot league mates draft, players to avoid. And I was forced into not being on camera to start this video. Connor has taken the reins here because he's got a message to share with everybody. But Gwen, welcome to the show. Connor is very, very upset heading into this episode.
Connor, why are you here?
Well, listen, these players that you say that to avoid are very high on my rankings, and you should be ashamed of yourself to even create an episode like this, and I'm not happy again, and you guys are both a-holes for this episode.
Wow, that's really rude, Connor. How much do you even know about football, really, Connor?
That's not the point. The point is I'm a suit and tie, copy and paste Concheapsis, the leader of the Concheapsis, and these players, one of them being my favorite, and I'm recommending him, J.K. Dobbins, I'm spoiling your show, is a stud, and you guys are ruining his reputation.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about him on the show, but he's years to wow me, and I'm not wowed, as Joe would say.
Connor, I think you're getting a little emotional here, and, I let you come on this show. I didn't think you'd come on here and swear at both of us before we start the episode. I really don't approve of this. Well, I don't care. Okay, Connor, yeah. I think that's enough. What do you think? I think it's enough for Connor today?
I think him and the Concheapsis need to go learn and understand football first before they can come back and tell us anything, especially me.
Okay, I just came on as a disclaimer to tell you to draft these guys. That is all. Bye-bye, a-holes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Lions. Sheeps rule, and I'll be back. Well, Connor, that was beyond rude, beyond.
Looks like he died at the fall at the end there. So
I think we've had enough of Connor. A lot of people asking for cameos, but at this point in the game, I think we've had enough of this guy.
Yeah, I think I've had enough.
All right, this episode we're talking about 7 players that you should avoid to let your idiot league mates draft. And when I went through this list, I've talked about other players to avoid, like Christian McCaffrey early, Austin Eckler. I wanted to kind of pick names that I don't really talk about that much because people talk about the same people sometimes. We know you hate Eckler. We know you hate Christian McCaffrey. We know you don't like Dalvin Cook. I hate a lot of people when it comes to fantasy. Don't hate them personally, but, So 7 players to avoid that. Let your dumb league mates draft them. You don't want any part of these guys. So, Gwen, I'm really excited to dive in this. How are you doing, by the way? So I apologize about Connor's behavior, calling you an a-hole. That wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that's not rude. I mean, that's not nice. I think that was super rude, and I don't think any guys should be speaking to females like that or sheep.
Yeah. Connor's got a potty mouth, and he needs to go back to his herd. All right. So before we get this, guys, actually go grab the 16-round draft solution and to get all the optimal players to draft. You draft sleepers, breakouts, optimal players. Use the code SMASH to save. Secure the solution. Secure the championship. All right. So let's get into it. You've got the list here. 7 players to let your idiot league mates draft, your Concheapsis league mates. Who are these guys? And we're going to talk about why you shouldn't draft them. Okay, so let's dive into this.
Okay, so first guy that we're going to talk about is DK Metcalf. So the Seahawks, I don't like him. The Seahawks drafted arguably the best wide receiver in the draft with JSN in the first round. And I think DK is going to continue to be a deep threat, but I don't like when teams go out and just get number 1 guys. He only averaged 60 yards per game last year and went for over 100 yards in only 2 games. So not a fan.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem adding JSN in regards to volume because you've got a top tier wide receiver out of this NFL draft. And my big question mark is Geno Smith, years to wows were not wowed, had himself a good year last year. But is this Geno Smith consistency going to last? He's got some good weapons, right? Obviously, their running back core a little banged up with Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker getting banged up as of recent. JSN being there, Tyler Lockett's still there, Metcalf, is there enough balls to go around? The guy is expensive, finished 16th last year amongst wide receivers. You got to spend relatively high draft capital on him. I'm going to be fading him let somebody else take Metcalf. I'm not sold on him at all. At all.
Yeah, I'm not
No.
either.
Too many balls to go around. And again, I'm not sold on Geno Smith. Again, Geno Smith could have a good year. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they phase out like Tyler Lockett, maybe. He gets traded midseason, and then Metcalf is really viable. But as of right now, no. Let somebody else take DK Metcalf because I want zero part of him this upcoming year. All right, let's talk about, we got 6 other players here to let your idiot league mates draft, and you avoid. Who comes in next?
Next, J.K. Dobbins. So, and like I just said to Connor, years to wow me. I'm not wowed. He's super injury prone.
Yeah.
In 3 years, he has only played 23 games. So I think while he's impressive when he does touch the ball,
Yeah.
we just can't trust him to stay healthy. So no for me.
Health is a big problem. And then you factor in that they acquired, is it Melvin Gordon, I think, recently. That's not good. And then you've got, a quarterback that's pretty much a running back.
Yeah.
So you got the injuries to contend with, right? You've got, obviously, Baltimore doesn't believe in him because they acquired Melvin Gordon. And then you've got to compete with a quarterback that runs the ball a lot. So again, J.K. Dobbins, years to wow me, and I'm not wowed. The problem I have is like people like Connor and the Sheeps, they come out and say, go 0 RB, draft some wide receivers, and make J.K. Dobbins your RB1. I think that's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and completely fade him again, and it's done me well avoiding him the past couple of years. I'm going to continue to do that. The offense is just not primed for him to be this amazing high-volume workhorse. Not sold on him.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on here.
Next guy is Mike Williams. So the Chargers also went and drafted another stud wide receiver who you love, Quentin Johnson. And since becoming a starter, Williams has averaged only 55 receptions for less than 900 yards. He posted similar numbers the next year with an additional mouth to feed. So I don't see him doing anything better than he has already.
Listen, last year without Quentin Johnson there, 13 games, finished 32nd amongst wide receivers. Now, here's what gets me, right? His draft capital is more expensive than a Quentin Johnson. I can get in round 7 to 9. And I'm calling it right now. So I'm going to go into the bigger screen mode here. I'm calling it right now, okay? Quentin Johnson is the wide receiver 1. This is recorded early August, okay? Drafting Quentin Johnson is the best decision you can make in fantasy football. And I could be wrong on this, but the fact that people are getting Keenan Allen in round 3 is ludicrous. He's old, he's washed, he can't stay healthy. Quentin Johnson's the guy. They can start sleeping just like they slept on on Kenneth Walker and told you to draft Rashaad Penny last year, and 10,000 other examples, okay? I 100% have Quentin Johnson on all my rosters. Love the upside, love the ceiling. And if you don't know this, now you know. Herbert throws more than pretty much any other quarterback. Last year with his wide receiver core banged up, was still second in passing attempts. Love Quentin Johnson. If you've been watching tape lately, he making some amazing catches on the field. Dude, I love this guy. Sorry to call you dude. I didn't mean to call you dude, but love this guy. Gwen, I don't know what else to say.
That's okay.
Man, I'm fired up about Quentin Johnson. Mike Williams, just avoid him, man. Do not draft Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Way too expensive. Get Quentin Johnson later. You'll thank me, guys. You'll thank me.
Yes.
Right, moving on here. Who else should your idiot league mates draft? Let them draft. Who else?
Rashaad Penny. So yeah. So he's been injury plagued, but hoping a change of scenery might help him out. The Eagles love a good committee, and with the returning fixtures of Boston Scott and Gainwell, as well as DeAndre Swift now joining the mix, I think the best policy with the Eagles backfield, even though I'm an Eagles fan, is to avoid completely. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and especially on this one for anyone to be fantasy relevant, especially Penny.
Everybody loved Penny. Had a Walker last year when he played 5 games, crapped the bed. Now, his yards per carry were over 6, which is really good. That's the only thing he's got going for him. So when he does play, he does okay, but that's the problem. He doesn't play. So I think the Eagles' whole strategy is, and you being an Eagles fan, is let's just draft 2 injury-prone players. Let's draft him. And then when one gets hurt, we'll play the other. Now, the only caveat here is what if they both get hurt at the same time? And we can't say that can't happen because it just happened with the Seattle Seahawks. And these guys have more injury-prone potential players than Penny and Swift because they've actually been injured multiple times and have sucked multiple times. So it's interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that people are going to be drafting Penny in those mid-rounds, and you're going to be already set at running back and drafting breakouts like a Dwayne McBride, man. There's a sleeper for you right there. I heard Madison's already a little banged up, limped off a day or two ago. So I don't think it's that serious. But either way, Rashaad Penny, let your idiot league mates draft him while you're making smarter decisions. And if you want smart decisions, grab the 16-round draft solution. All right, moving on here. We got 3 more to go. Gwen, who else do you want your idiot league mates to draft and, you want to avoid?
Yeah, so next one I would say to avoid is Juju. He had the benefit of the best quarterback in the league throwing him the ball last year, and now he's going to have one of the worst. I think Mac Jones is a joke, and I doubt he will finish the year. I don't think anyone on the Patriots is worth a draft pick besides Ramondre Stevenson.
For now, until they screw up his value too. I'm staying away from all Patriots. Now, Stevenson, I had him in my 16 rounds as a recommendation, but now that they're flirting with every other running back in the league that's a free agent or even not a free agent, I'm just going to completely stay away from Juju and that entire offense. And Mac Jones sucks and Juju sucks. Juju only benefited years ago with the Steelers offense when he was running alongside Antonio Brown. Brown was drawing double coverage. Big Ben throws a lot. Juju benefited. He had one good year. Again, I'm not sold on him, not sold on his TikToks, not sold on what he wears. I'm just completely anti-Juju. I just don't like the guy, don't like the player. It's personal with Juju. I just don't like his character on and off the field. It's a no. Don't like the offense. There's nothing that cries, I want this guy on my fantasy team. So it's a big no for me. Pass. Let someone else take him. Let them take him. Go have them. Go ahead.
Yes, I agree with you there.
All right. This one's going to cause a little controversy here. We got 2 more here. Who is another player that we got here to avoid?
DJ Moore. So I feel like DJ Moore has been wildly undervalued throughout his career. This year he comes in as a piece to help the Bears figure out if Justin Fields is the guy. And I think that seems like a risky proposition, but his ADP is right now is I think in the 5th round. And if Fields is the guy, I think he could boom, but I don't think that Fields is the guy. So I am staying away from him. And I think you are too.
Yeah, I think there's some buzz going around. A couple of videos came out that these guys are really connecting. I don't care. I'm not really sold on Fields being the guy either. His top, he was still kind of getting integrated last year. He's more settled in now. His top target guy was Chase last year. Chase Claypool, I believe it was 79 targets. And then Mooney sucked last year. His entire offense sucked last year. I'm not sold. DJ Moore has never been, he's always been kind of like a lower tier wide receiver 1. I never consider him good. And you can say, well, Joey's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, blah, 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 blah. I don't think he's that good. I don't think Fields is that good. I think Fields threw for what? Do you know how many yards Fields threw for last year?
No, let me pull that up. Or do you have
it?
No,
I have it.
Okay.
2,242. Gwen, I could go in there and throw for 2,200. You try to draft a receiver with relatively high draft capital in your fantasy drafts with a quarterback that can't even throw past 2,300 yards. No, let somebody else take DJ Moore, have him. I just don't want him, don't care for him. Years to wow me, I'm not wowed. Not sold on Fields. He's a running quarterback. No. Fields, Lamar Jacksons of the world. No, they run too much for my liking. Yeah, you've got the rushing upside for fantasy points if you own them, but in regards to their receivers, they just don't benefit from all that running. Just no. Not sold. All right, we got one more here, and I think we both agree on this one to avoid. Who do you got?
Yeah, so Deebo Samuel, I think the only reason that he's anywhere close to the top of the ADP is because of 2021, where he went for over 1,700 yards from the scrimmage. And I think a lot of that had to do with there was no other great options on the team. Yeah. And now they have Ayuk and CMC and a healthy Kittle. Yeah. And so I think this is another situation where there's not enough touches to go around. And Deebo, I believe, is the odd man out here with, I think there's going to be more for Kittle, CMC, and then Ayuk has been improving. So I don't think this is a good pick for Deebo.
Yeah, and then you got Purdy there. Is it Trey Lance? Are they going to trade Trey Lance? Who's the starting quarterback? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, again, when I look at a wide receiver, I look at who's throwing the ball, right? And I'm not sold on Brock yet. I'm just not. Maybe he's a great quarterback, but I don't know that 100% yet. So I'm looking for the guys like a Justin Herbert, like quarterbacks that throw a lot of volume when I look at receivers. Like even like Hurts, we've seen some proven track record with him and A.J. Brown. I like it. I like A.J. Brown because I know that Hurts can deliver. That's what I'm looking for when I look at a wide receiver. And Deebo, not in a good situation with all those weapons. I mean, if CMC goes down, which I'm predicting he probably will, I hate predicting injury. I'm terrible like that. People are like, Joe, you're such a mean person. You're a terrible person. I'm just calling it what it is, like Cooper Kupp. I'm like, the volume Cooper Kupp was getting, there was no way but down. And I called it. And like, you're so mean, Joe. You're so mean. You're like Ellen, you know? Wasn't Ellen known for being mean? Like,
yeah, I've heard she's pretty mean to her employees.
yeah, I'm like the Ellen of fantasy football or something, you know? It is what it is. I just call it how it is. I want you guys to win, and I want you to avoid potential pitfalls. And I think these players here are potential pitfalls, like a Dobbins, a Mike Williams. Like, these guys just can't stay healthy. Let somebody else draft these injury-prone fantasy football losers. I don't know what else to tell you.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that wraps it up. I mean, we got a dose of Connor today earlier on. We talked about players to avoid. But if you want players to draft, grab the 16-round draft solution, secure the championship, and use code SMASH to save. Gwen, is there anything else you want to say to everybody before we take off?
I'm hoping that people comment and say that they don't want Connor back. Really, that's so make sure you comment below.
We should have a vote. And I don't think the votes are going to go his way. I really just
I don't think so either. But you love him, so I just feel like no matter what everyone says, he's gonna keep happening.
I can't say he's likable, but I can say he's tolerable. Like, you could tolerate him in small dosages, but I don't know if we're gonna keep him. And again, it depends on what people want to do. Now, Tim the bald guy actually has an inflatable doll that is actually his girlfriend. Her name is Betsy. So he's thinking of inflating her, bringing her back, but she just sits there with her mouth open like this the whole time. I mean, there's really nothing to her. So I mean, he voices her once in a while, but I mean, she's not real like Connor or anything like that. So, but he thinks she's real, and I think Connor's real. So it's all fun and games.
I think I'll get a goat for when my picks are all accurate this year and CMC does not get injured. I'm just gonna bring him on and be like, oh, this is the goat of fantasy football advice.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, fantasy football is back. Subscribe, thumbs up, drop a comment below. Are you drafting these guys? Let us know. We're out. Bye, Gwen. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Connor. We're out.
Bye forever.